Welcome to the Cuyahoga Rivercast, a show where we attempt to share some of our insights into what is going on in Northeast Ohio as we attempt to entertain you along the way. This is show 14, recorded June 21st, 2025. I'm your host, Robert, and every week I'm joined by my friend Tom, who's always up for exploring the great state of Ohio. And that's enough of me blabbering. Let's get into it. Tom, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Rob. How are you doing? I think it's incredible. We have no king.
No kings?
No king.
Oh.
I mean, 1776 we had no king, and the protesters did it.
That's at least, at least gotta have a party horn for that, right? Yay, no king! Woohoo! Yeah, there were some protests. Protests. Some people I knew got caught up in the protests. As far as streets were blocked. Or
streets. Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So, in a couple different cities. A guy I work with in Parma, actually.
Yeah, Parma was
on
pretty.
State Road or something. I heard it was a decent turnout.
Ridge Road near Parma town. Unless there was another one somewhere in Parma.
Yeah, I heard a report, and it seemed like every city had 500 people, according to the report. I thought that was interesting. Hey, about 500 people showed up, and at least 500 people showed up, and 500 people showed up. It's pretty good. I was like, wow, that's a trend. Almost like you guys are just throwing that number out there. But it was raining. They probably would have had a much bigger turnout if it wasn't raining.
I don't know. I don't know if they would have had a bigger turnout. It was here nearby here where I live, which is close to Parma. It was a pretty good it was a bigger turnout than I expected. But what I didn't expect was it was about 70% boomers. Yes,
that would actually trend correctly from what I'm seeing. I think the irony was pretty thick in this whole no kings thing.
Well, it was silly.
I'm reading an editor to the editor on the Ohio Press Network. And I think this is Jack Windsor writing this.
Yep.
And he's pointing out a couple things that seem to be a little weird. So for one, let's just contrast. No kings. Trump, the GOP nomination for presidential candidate in 2024, earned 2,291 out of 2,429 primary delegates. How many did Kamala Harris get? Zero.
No!
Oh. Okay, there's one. Trump won the electoral and the popular vote to become the 47th president of America. No kings.
Go!
So if Kamala Harris isn't enough, let's not forget, this is some of what Jack Winder's writing, let's not forget COVID. No kings!
Oh, they tried. That side tried to lock everybody up.
Demanding schools be shut down, ignoring kids and learning the troubles of learning from home. Didn't care. Mask mandates for at least a year past where it should have been.
Also, don't forget how they were censoring actual doctors that were.
Yes, they were actually
had the opposite view.
Calling up their buddies at the time, Twitter and Facebook, and telling them to shadow ban or ban these people outright, pull their YouTube channels off, demonetize them, all for what? Because they had a different view. Maybe their view wasn't 100% take the vax. Maybe treat it. That was a couple things, and all of a sudden they got banned. That's weird.
It was all about the money.
Yes. Here's another one from Jack. And I quote, clapped as bureaucrats played God, labeling businesses essential and not essential. Sounds like a king to me.
Yep.
So what was a couple of things? Ignored surging non-COVID deaths from delayed care. Spike in obesity, a massive increase in substance abuse from COVID. I mean, no kings.
And now we don't have a king. So
And yeah, it's great. So I also looking at our friends at Cleveland.com. And I'm reading an article. And here's the article. Fear is a sign we're alive. Ohioans tamed terror to stand against authoritarianism. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. What can I pull from this? Well, quite a bit. So let's hear from Cleveland.com's Today in Ohio. Our buddies we heard from last week. Chris Quinn is the host, I believe, from this. He sent out a text. He has a group text somehow, and I'd like to see how we get on that. But
who's this?
This is Chris Quinn, I think is his name. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Chris Quinn is the host of Today in Ohio, it sounds like.
Oh,
he
that
sent
guy.
he sent out a group text in the morning asking, what their fears were. What their fears were. Okay, let's hear. This is Today in Ohio.
You're listening to Today in Ohio. Lisa, we talked Monday about the No Kings rallies throughout Ohio and the nation, but one element of the coverage stood out to me. Several people said in our stories they had to overcome fear to be at the protests, and I wondered what the fears were. I asked about that on my morning text Monday, and I got all sorts of thoughtful answers. What were people afraid of?
Yeah, you got actually over 200 responses to that question. What fears did you overcome to participate in the No Kings protests? And there were some common themes. So a lot of people were worried about extremist violence, random danger like mentally unstable people, lone shooters, or rogue drivers driving into crowds. One person said that they almost didn't go after seeing online chatter. And they were also worried about, gunfire, but they went anyway. They were also worried about police aggressive tactics like tear gas, flashbangs, rubber bullets, and the like that we saw in Los Angeles. One person said to you, my only fear was of the police. But in Cleveland and most of the protests around Northeast Ohio, that was a non-issue. Police actually stood back and watched, and they collaborated with the protesters. They were also worried about retaliation by didn't go after seeing online chatter. They were all.
What were you saying, Tom?
This is hilarious. They collaborate. No, you know what? They just didn't get involved because you weren't rioting, you freaking idiot.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't antagonize the police. And then, like in the LA riots, the police it was time for the police to leave. They were going back to the precinct. What everybody was telling them to do, get out. And then as soon as they went to leave, they blocked the street, don't let them leave. And then what are the cops supposed to do? Push their way through, and it causes an incident. Does it happen to everyone? No. But at every one of these, no. But this is their tactic. Antagonize the cops until they do something.
Yeah.
Well, most of these protests are completely fine until about nightfall. And then there's a certain element that show up and they just rile everybody up.
Yeah. Even here in Parma, there was a few people that I thought would have started, but I don't think they had enough. Let's say they didn't have enough people to join in because it was mostly boomers. But there were a few younger people that were wearing the type of hoodies and masks that kind of the Antifa type, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's only not even a handful, so they couldn't really get anything done. But I bet you they were waiting for that.
Waiting for the opportunity, or maybe they're rookies at it, and they just had to get through a few of them and figure out.
Or they didn't know how to.
They
didn't know what to expect, and maybe they thought that would happen. But those are organized, completely organized. So
let's see what more they have to say. I think I may have lost my place, but let's see where.
Flashbangs, rubber bullets, and the like that we saw in Los Angeles. One person said to you, my only fear was of the police. But in Cleveland and most of the protests around Northeast Ohio, that was a non-issue. Police actually stood back and watched, and they collaborated with the protesters. They were also worried about retaliation by Trump. Would Trump seek revenge on cities and people with unjustified arrests, economic pressure, facial recognition used to, go after people?
Where would they get these ideas?
People were also worried about their job and their reputation.
The one thing that also stood out. They were worried about facial recognition software, recording them for later use when the authoritarian movement is in full swing and they're sweeping more people off the street.
Didn't they do that on January 6th?
Yes, they did. They actually did. And months and even years later, we're still going after people through facial. So I can't figure out why they're so fearful. I mean,
I don't know. They're watching MSN or MSNBC.
Or Today in Ohio.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, what's the difference really? Except that it's local.
It's local. So it actually hits a little closer to home for me. It's like, so there's this other story. I guess I'll mix it in. I didn't know where to put this because it's all part of, to me, a similar narrative, rhetoric, whatever you want to call it. In the national parks, there has been a letter sent out, or they're putting out a sign on some of the doors. It happened in Boston Mills, I think was the first place they saw it. I'll just get so the Department of the Interior has put out notices at the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And we'll get back to No Kings and more things. But I just want to kind of lay this out. This is why people fearful. So the letter states, Cuyahoga Valley National Park belongs to the American people. And the National Park Service wants your feedback. Please let us know if you identify 1, any areas that need repair, 2, any services that need improvement, or 3, any signs or other information that are negative about either past or living Americans or that fail to emphasize the beauty, grandeur, and abundance of the landscape and other natural features. You got a little QR code, you got a website.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. They are flipping out. And here's I'll just go right into this clip from Today in Ohio about the national parks. And again, why would people be so scared? Well, if you're listening to this all day long, how could you not be scared? Let's just get into this.
It's striking how much of Donald Trump's agenda is the authoritarian playbook. I get emails from people when I say that saying, oh, you can't call this authoritarianism. He's sending out masked police to secretly arrest people all over America. He's sending in the army to quash protests. He's seeking to have people inform on each other in the national parks. This isn't America. This is what authoritarians do. And yet we hear from people say, this isn't authoritarianism. He's just trying to make America great again, whatever the heck that means.
It's funny. So last night I did a little bit of research try to
Tom.
understand more about
Please tell us
what types of historical content could be muzzled under this new directive. And it's fascinating how the history of the parks coincides with the history of some of the darker aspects of our history. Many national parks, including Trail of Tears National Historic Trail, they explore the forced removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands. And, that's a history that includes broken treaties and mass death and cultural erasure. You cannot visit that park and not have that educational experience while you're there. And are they being muzzled from telling that story?
Are they?
That's absolutely
answer your own
just
question.
Disgusting.
Answer your own question.
I think most thoughtful people understand that humans are on a journey toward enlightenment, that we are a species that's made a great many mistakes and we correct them. Everything from the way we treat people to the substances we use. Remember, Coca-Cola used to be cocaine. I mean, we learned that that's not a good idea.
Wait, just pause it real quick. He thinks Coca-Cola got better when they took out cocaine. They just put in something else, almost as addictive, called caffeine. Okay. Well, what else? I mean, let's continue.
Constantly trying to get better.
What?
I'm
say something.
Yeah.
You need to take a break. You need to not listen to that voice for a second. Or? I got more.
Go ahead. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. So why are people so scared? I can't figure it out.
And learning from the many, many mistakes of our past. But if you erase those mistakes, the lessons disappear. The Holocaust deniers want to make the Holocaust disappear. It can never disappear. It's a lesson we need to carry forward for the rest of time. This is the same kind of thing. Let's stamp out the Japanese internment. That was a terrible mistake. It shouldn't have happened. It affected countless lives in the wrong way.
Where does it say anything about stamping out anything? Okay, so let's pay attention to the examples they're using. Okay, this is almost done. Good.
Should learn about it. Every kid should learn about it so that when they're in charge, they don't do it. Donald Trump wants to say everything America ever did was great. We're not going to say anything bad about it. Which, does that stop with slavery? Would we wipe out any mention of slavery?
Right. Yeah, right.
It's
exactly.
Terrible. It's a terrible move, and I can't wait till he's gone.
Yeah, wait till he's gone. Okay, so I can't imagine why people are so fearful and why the rhetoric is being hyped up and people are so on edge.
Do you think they're being disingenuous, or they actually believe in this? And when I say they, I mean the broadcasters here. Yeah,
that is a great question. I don't know, because let's think about. Remember, I said pay attention to the examples they're using: Trail of Tears, slavery, Japanese internment camps. Don't forget about German internment camps. I'll add that one in. That was World War I. Japanese internment camps was World War II. The Holocaust. What do all those things have in common? They were all done by Democrats.
Well, I don't even want to.
In the Holocaust, I know, but in the Holocaust, it's not obviously that was the Nazis, but we have to remember history. The Nazis looked to America to get all their evil, and they looked at the progressives. Slavery, Trail of Tears. Who was in charge of the South at the time of the Trail of Tears? Internment camps. Who was president during internment camps? Who was president during the German internment camps? So basically, what he's telling me is, don't vote for Democrats because.
Yeah,
I don't know. First of all, nobody's saying that you can't say this stuff. What are they saying? Maybe
I think they're just looking for like I don't know if you want to call them cell groups, but I think they're just looking for maybe rogue actors that are trying to start trouble.
This has something to do with we went through a 2-year period where they were changing the national names of parks and removing this and, tearing down signs. Or what just happened recently? Here's what happened recently in California. Maybe this is one of the reasons they want to have people report things that are, don't add to the beauty and the nature or have an ideology of some sort. Here's what happened like a month or so ago in California, El Capitan.
Some carry hate. We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth.
I wish I had video.
So call it a protest, call it a celebration. We are bringing elevation to liberation. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries.
What they do?
So we raise this flag higher than ever before, so every trans person knows that they have people that love them in their corner. The people united will never be defeated.
Never be defeated. So maybe that's kind of what they're talking about. So what they did, because they're erasing us, they unfurled this huge flag. I don't know. Is it just a trans flag? Because it wasn't like it wasn't the rainbow discombobulated mix of colors that they now call a flag. It was just a couple. It was like pink and blue or something like that. And they, people climbed up the side of El Capitan, which people do every day there. It's one of the things you do there. And they spread this flag out and made a political statement on the side of El Capitan. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But no. They're swooping people up off the streets, masked men, and they're trying to get everybody to report on themselves.
That's another one. Like, do they actually believe that they're masking themselves Like, why do they think they're masking themselves? Do they not understand that they get doxxed? Or, I mean, I genuinely don't understand, like, are they lying on purpose, or do they just not understand? Again, when I say they, the broadcasters.
The hosts of this show in particular, I believe again, it's just a guess. I think they believe it.
You really think so? Yeah. I think
at some level,
if they're lying, they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. I think at some level, there's somebody that doesn't believe it and just pushing this kind of stuff. Who could be any number of actors, but I really think
it doesn't matter who. I mean, like, they just want clicks. I mean, because nobody's listening to this podcast except for you, Rob.
Hey, I'm giving them one listen, and I'm getting entertainment out of it all along the way. So, I mean, to me, this is the kind of stuff when they're talking about, they're going through all this terrible stuff that no one said you can't talk about. But maybe if you're saying untruths and you're lying about founding fathers, or you're just being an activist at the national park,
right? Then
they should remove you, because I don't go there for your activism. I go to enjoy the park. I don't know. I don't see this
you're
as,
right. I just
as anything other than that.
Yeah, no, they're just want. I think rogue actors that are maybe defacing the park, or maybe, I don't even know exactly, but they're not trying to change history.
I mean, if you got
that's
five people,
that's something the progressives do, actually.
Right. And why, if you've got 5 people screaming all kinds of nonsense in front of some monument somewhere, and this could be considered, they're saying, oh, the founding fathers are racist and bigots and all this other stuff. Well, that's kind of disparaging the founding fathers. I think I'd like you to be removed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
it is a national park, or a federal park, for sure.
I know there's a fine line there. But just more importantly is when this rhetoric is just churned up and turned up. This is what you have. You have people like this that are saying, they read this, and all they see is authoritarianism. Oh my gosh. They want people to spy on each other, even though for years, all we've heard is, if you see something, say something, from multiple administrations on both sides. If you see something, say something. Well, isn't that turning in your own citizens? Oh, wait a minute. Let's talk about COVID and what the Biden administration wanted you to do in turning in your neighbors if they weren't vaxxed, or if they weren't wearing masks. Let's have this hotline here and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. So
take a deep breath.
Thank you. So then I'm watching, and then we have the shooting in Minnesota, which adds everything to it. This crazy nut job. Who the hell knows what he was doing it for? Because there's no information that we can rely on, other than there's a whole bunch of insanity going on here.
Well, he's got a bunch of scribbles on a paper, and all of a sudden they're calling it a hit list, but it doesn't make any sense. And tell you the truth, they've stopped talking about it. So I'm wondering what really came out.
Yeah, all of a sudden crickets.
Yep.
So I guess Emily Sykes, Chantel Brown, and Marcy Kapdor from Toledo, all Democrats, were mentioned in the notes of this guy. I'm not even going to say his name, who has been charged with stalking Minnesota State Rep, and he shot and killed one person. It's tragedy. It's complete nuts. He had No Kings flyers, I guess, handwritten in his car. He's got
no. He actually had the No Kings flyers, like the printed out ones. I think
that's the picture I saw. It looked like he had written marker No Kings and then photocopied it, and there was like a stack of them. That was the one I saw, at least.
Oh,
maybe there was more.
Interesting.
What else is just weird? Some are saying he volunteered or worked for the mayor of Minnesota, a Democrat. We may know him as Tim Walz.
Is he the mayor or the governor?
Governor? Excuse me,
governor. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, no, he did work for Tim Walz.
Yeah. And his wife did too.
That's when things started getting a little quiet.
Yes.
And in the Minnesota Star Tribune, which I can't get back into because it's one of those that just lets you read it once.
Oh yeah, here you go.
There was a. Go ahead.
So the letter's clear evidence of this guy's mindset after targeting violence. I just put it on this. Yeah, there's a rambling letter addressed to the FBI alleging that the assassin claimed that Tim Walz instructed him to kill Senator Amy Klobuchar, and so Walz could run for U.S. Senate, according to two people familiar with the content of the letter, which is two people familiar with the content of the letter, so take it for what it's worth. So there's all kinds of weirdness going on here, and all of a sudden, as more and more is coming out, like you said, it's kind of like, no, it's just gonna go. We're just gonna go away.
There's they were calling him a right-wing extremist, and then it was kind of starting to get a little quieter. Because both sides were trying to deflect the issue here.
Federal prosecutors are alleging the letter was left behind in a Buick that the assassin deserted near his home in Green Isle, Minnesota.
Right. So he went from like a right-wing extremist that was trying to kill Democrats to basically silence after the more that things came out, the left isn't talking about him anymore, and that is not something they would do if they had evidence.
Yes.
Or if there wasn't evidence against what they were saying in the first place. So I just think there's going to be some, once there's a trial, that there's going to be some things coming out that will embarrass the left. Well, they don't get embarrassed. They just kind of.
Red flags went off in my head when I heard his roommate said he was X, Y, and Z, and then in the next sentence, he's got 5 kids. He has a wife and kids, and he has a roommate.
Right.
2 roommates.
It was bizarre.
Some smelly, sweaty guy, it looks like, but.
Well, he's
who would not allow the reporters to see his text.
Whichever way,
all weird stuff.
This ends up like leaning like what. Do we find out he's a Democrat? Do we find out he's a Republican? It doesn't matter. He was insane.
Yeah. So I'm going through and where else has this happened? And we come to find with very little effort that this happens quite often nowadays. And it's happened recently to a couple of Ohio Congress critters. Very recently, Ohio Representative Max Miller, and which was, I think, the most recent, and Andrew Brenner, Republican Delaware, all have had this happen to. I'm sure there's more, but this is just the first 2 I found. And actually, Brenner was on the Windsor Report, and I got a little clip. We can go over a couple things.
I got a clip from Max Miller too, if you want to hear it.
Oh yeah, we're here. Yep. Let's hear what Brenner has to say, and Max, because Brenner had a couple of things. He was swatted a couple of times. If you don't know what that is, swatting.
Where's Brenner from?
Brenner is Republican Delaware, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So he had swatting is when somebody calls a fake call into the police and says you're being held hostage or some really crazy situations to make the cops bust into your house because they feel they have no option because a life is being threatened, and then hopefully get you killed.
Yeah,
if somebody busts in your house, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, if they raid your house and you have a gun, close by, you're gonna pull that gun out and they're gonna shoot you. So it's murder, basically.
Let's see if we can get anything out of this clip from the Windsor Report, Andrew Brenner.
Well, I think everybody bear responsibility for dialing.
Windsor, Jack asks, who's responsible for this rhetoric? Who's responsible for toning it down a bit? And that was the question that leads into this.
Well, I think everybody bear responsibility for dialing it back. And I think if you've seen since 2011, just the rise in social media and people being able to say things in an impersonal manner to just raise the rhetoric quickly online. And that's coming from not just, coming from average citizens, but also from elected officials. They will immediately jump to calling Republicans Nazis or, making a suggestion that there was an insurrection in the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
Insurrection.
Those kind of things inflame people. There wasn't an insurrection. Was there a massive riot? Yes, there was. Did people do bad things in the U.S. Capitol by breaking in? Yes. And so when you're enraging people and making them feel like that they're, I saw there was a video clip of this liberal lady from the No Kings rally over the weekend.
There you go.
Where, she was just crying. She was in her mid-70s. She was crying. She just thought that the world was collapsing around her. And the only reason you get to that point is if the rhetoric has been raised so much and you're believing it that you think the end of the world is about to happen and that you've got to do something. And it's that rhetoric that has caused, I think, a lot of people to take actions that they otherwise wouldn't have. I think that's what led to the shooting in Minnesota. I think that's what led to the person, sending, the death threats to our state house and to our, statewide elected officials and legislators.
Right. There's your blue hair there, screaming and crying and all spun up because all they're listening to is
Today in Ohio.
Is spin up. What do you got? Because I have another example.
I just Max Miller posted a clip of him telling people what happened to him. So let me play that. I think it was on Instagram.
Let's make something abundantly clear to anyone who needs to see this, which apparently is a lot of people. If you have an issue with a legislator, your city councilman, your mayor, anyone like that, the appropriate thing to do is to reach out to them for a phone call to set up a meeting at one of our district offices. What is not okay is to assault anyone, whether you're a member of Congress or anybody else within our district, while you are driving to work. Ohio 7, this morning, as I was driving to work, some unhinged, deranged man decided to lay on his horn and run me off the road when he couldn't get my attention to show me a Palestinian flag. Not to mention death to Israel, death to me, that he wanted to kill me and my family. Thank God my daughter was not in my vehicle or anybody else at the time. We know exactly who you are. I have gone about my day. I have carried on my meetings, and we will not hide. And I will continue to fight against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all other forms of hate. You have an issue? Take it to our office. You want to run me off the road? That's a different story. We know who you are, young man, and the police are going to be paying you a visit. And I hope what you did this morning is worth it to you and anyone else who plans on doing this to anybody within our district, state, or country.
Oh, that has screams for this right here.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Dang, he was fired up.
Yeah, well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and here. So they're talking about now more security for state legislatures, and they're looking at putting more patrols of state highway patrol and patrolling the houses more. And I get into this. I'm listening to again Today in Ohio, and they're talking about what kind of security and this and that. And I pulled this clip.
What was surprising about this is the fringe right wing immediately turned this into that it's the liberals' fault when this was a right-wing fringe guy who did this.
Assassin.
It just made no sense that that's what they're doing, but I think it's because they feel vulnerable. They create all this hate talk, and it activates people like this guy to do terrible things.
On the part of Senator Weinstein, he said this incident has struck him and his fellow lawmakers. They're deeply worried after all this.
Yeah, well, but they're also the most divisive people we've ever had in office, and they've created a polarization in America.
Where's the rhetoric?
I can't
figure out.
You're listening to Today in Ohio.
Can't figure out why people would be all spun up. How about this? Well, this is an oldie but a goodie. So they want to talk about both sides need to tone it down. I agree. Both sides do need to tone it down, but I think the volume knob is a little farther ahead on one side than the other. So I think one needs to turn it down a lot more than the other. And again, both, this is complete and utter crap that we're even getting to this point. But maybe if you're hearing this stuff all the time,
you try to kill the president.
Well, let's see what kind of rhetoric we need to tone down.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
Ted Cruz.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. I'd punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. And that's a fact.
That's Snoop Dogg.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd.
You do what?
And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Huh. My favorite.
You know what's funny is I never hear that type of rhetoric from the other side.
So I looked for it.
Yeah.
And the best I could find was some clips of Trump saying, I'd punch him in the face, or I'm not sure, but I know I'd go boom, boom, boom. And a couple of them, I could play it, but a couple of them, they played twice in this clip, and it was a minute and a half long. I could pull 5 more minutes easily of that kind of stuff that I just played.
Yeah.
And a couple of times they played one part of it twice of Trump's at a speech in 2016 or something like that. And he's talking about giving someone a right or hook or something like that. And what he was talking about was when somebody ran up on stage after him. Security had to tackle a guy.
But
he's going to try to fight
that.
Exactly. Twisted it. But my favorite of all of them is, of course, Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, who said this little gem.
When you're in the arena, you got to be ready to take a punch. You got to be ready to throw a punch for the children.
For the children. Yes. So what does all this rhetoric come to?
Wow.
Well, let's remember this little clip.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Just let it play. So here. So yeah, we need to turn the rhetoric down. Yeah, we need to turn the rhetoric down. For the children.
Punch him for the children.
Punch him for the children.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
Come on, when Barney's screaming it, you got to think of the children. Wow, that gives me the chills every time I hear it.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. That when sorry. I agree, the rhetoric needs to be turned down, but when you're being told over and over again that someone's coming to get you and his name is Donald Trump, that's all I got to say about that. And we move on. If anyone disagrees with that, but I'm sure many will, we have email crookedrivercast@gmail.com. We are on X at CRC Ohio News, or search for Crooked Rivercast. You'll find us there. DM us. Share this with your friends. Please. It would be very helpful, and we want to get all this information out to as many people as you can. We also have crookedrivercast.com. Can't remember any of that. At least remember crookedrivercast.com. Has all that information on our splash page and while we build our website. You got time. Pull us out of this mess here. I mean, I could go on to campaign finance oversight, which is really nothing about campaign finance oversight. It's really about the complete and total BS headline, again, from our News Channel 5. So
what do you want to talk about?
Well, last week
you want to talk about, you want to go right into that, or do you want to go somewhere else?
I'll go right into it. This will be fun.
Okay.
Why not? If I go out of order, then I'll totally get screwed up anyway. So I heard this last week in some of the clips we heard about them cutting out democracy out of the budget. And so I got to look into this. So what's happened in the budget is they've here's the headline from Channel 5. Ohio House Senate budget eliminate agency tasked with campaign finance oversight. I thought, well, that's interesting. I'd like to find out what's going on with that, because would you say we might need some campaign oversight?
Oh, I think so.
So I'm thinking, why are the Republicans getting rid of campaign oversight? I'm having none of that, Tom. Let me just dig into it. As I dig into it, they're not getting rid of it. They just want to change it. They currently have, it's currently the governor selects 6 of the 7 members on the Ohio Election Commission, evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. And the 7th member is selected by those 6 and must have no partisan affiliation. What they want to do is propose a whole new setup where all the commission members would be selected by partisan elected officials, creating a situation where one party will have either a 3-2 advantage on the commission. So
wait, what? That is it's a little confusing. What was that?
So according to the headline, that the Republicans want to get rid of campaign finance oversight.
So the governor selects 6 of the 7.
That's the way it is now.
Right.
The governor selects 6 of the 7 for the commission, and the 7th one is picked by those 6 that the governor picks. Okay.
So they basically, you got 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and then you pick an independent, basically.
And they vote on, those 6 people vote on that
gotcha.
7th person.
Right. Which needs to be it sounds like it needs to be an independent, right?
It says must have no partisan affiliation, which is,
well,
I would question, like, how do you, but whatever, that's fine. But under the new law, under the new commission, but I thought the headline said they were getting rid of the commission.
Right.
It would just be elected by the House and Senate.
I kind of like that better, right?
I don't know if either way is better than the other. Seems, well, for the opposition party, yeah, I guess, because the governor now picks all 6 of those, picks the vast majority of the commission, and then 1 is independent. So now it's going to be done. Yeah, I think the legislature is closer to the people. I think that would be better.
Yeah, that's what I think. They're representing us. So, but I mean, like, it does kind of put, whoever, it's going to change over time, but it kind of puts whoever has fewer representatives in their party.
Yeah, it goes from 1 person picking it basically to a group of people picking it.
Right.
And
right now it would always be an advantage to the Republicans
because they control the legislature.
Yeah.
If Democrats can control, then they would have a 3-2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll change over time, but okay.
Yeah, but like it's a non-story. But why the sensational headline that the House is getting? Yeah,
it's a click.
And I guess to me, I put this so far up close to this. My other rant on this, no kings and the rhetoric is the American people, unfortunately, live on headlines. So a lot of people would just read the headline and move on. Oh, Republicans are getting rid of democracy.
Yeah, that's what's become of the news, national and local.
Right. It's sensationalized. It's clicks. It's clickbait. You just got to really watch what you're reading. Read farther than 2 paragraphs, because
listening to No Agenda, John Dvorak said something interesting about headlines, and they actually have a headline writer.
Yeah.
They don't the person that writes the story rarely ever gets a chance to write the headline for that story. So, it could be somebody that doing honest work that, somebody will just kind of try to make something more clickable, I guess, and enrage people, because getting people angry is actually
usually the chief editor, I think, or, depends.
Yeah, something like that.
They'll try to sensationalize it a little bit. But you got to read more than the headline and usually farther than 2 paragraphs.
Well, that's what we're trying to help with too.
Yeah, exactly.
For the people that don't have time, we kind of break down some of these stories.
Yeah, that's the service that we offer. Speaking of democracy or lack thereof, the next I have is short. We'll touch quickly on House Bill 335. Which I got a city or a story about Solon and North Ridgeville who are complaining. So what does HB 335 do? It removes what's called inside millage. And what the heck is inside millage? Well, inside millage apparently is, I did not know this was even a thing. So when you get a levy and they say they want a 20 mil levy, it's millage. It's a way of reporting or rate of gauging money. I'm not even going to attempt to get into it right now. What I want to pull out of this story is the inside millage counts for the percentage of property tax that local cities are able to levy on you without your consent.
Yeah, to me it sounded like if you're going to have a school levy and it passes, they can actually use a portion of that for other things. That's what it sounded like to me. Yeah, when I read it.
Yeah, it sounded like to me like this is adding on top of anything that gets voted in. Like it's like they can put in an extra 1%.
I thought it was more like
without being voted.
I thought it was more taking 1% or 2%. I forget what the percentage was from the levy that you voted on. Meaning, if you voted for increase in school funding, they could actually take 1% of that and use it for something else that you didn't really vote for.
You didn't vote for it on. Okay, so it's similar.
That's what it sounded like to me. You're they might be asking for more just so they can pull that 1 or 2% out.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of it is a kind of a, I don't know what you would call it.
Well, if you're voting on a levy for certain things and they could pull it out and do something else with it, it's kind of
it's a dishonest, totally dishonest.
Yeah, I'm just I did a quick search of what inside millage means, and it doesn't really. It gives you the definition of what millage is. Refers to a tax rate used to calculate the amount of property tax owed, expressed in mills, which equals to 1,000 of a dollar.
So inside meaning it's part of the. I think they're just taking out of what you voted on, but they're using a portion of that for things that you didn't even consider that they would use it for.
This bill would prevent that from happening, and some of the cities are freaking out because they rely heavily on this inside millage.
Yeah.
And, could be as much as, 10-15% of their budget of the revenue comes out of this stuff. And
I don't know. Does Solon really need that?
According to Solon, they do.
I don't know. I drive by and I see some of those houses there. I don't think they need that.
Again, you go back over all these taxes have gone up and up over the last 10 years, 5-10 years, and their revenue's gone up and up. So maybe not. Maybe
they're just being lazy and don't know how to budget.
How to run Right. Maybe all their wives do their checkbooks and their bank accounts, and they have no idea how to do it. That's how they got in office. Maybe I don't know. Makes no sense. But so they keep it up. I mean, we'll keep an eye on and see what happens. But this could change a lot. Again, more of a push towards less tax, more accountability in our schools and in our taxes. It's kind of what we talked about last week. There's a movement, and people are tired of getting their pockets picked over and over again. So. On to the next story. Where do you want to go next, Tom? You pulled this story on character and education.
And there's a
kind of a cool.
We'll talk about it. Let's see. There's J.D. Davidson. This is from the Ohio Press Network by J.D. Davidson. Anyways, there's a Rep. Kevin Ritter, a Republican from Marietta. He's a former school teacher, and he is getting a bill out there. There's no bill number, so I don't know if it's written up yet or not. But he wants to bring back character, or how should I say this? He wants to add character education in Ohio schools.
Mm-hmm.
What
is he says?
This would be which at first I'm still kind of like weird about it. Shouldn't character be taught by fathers and mothers? And
yeah, he says Ohio students need to learn character traits like honesty, loyalty, abstinence before marriage, and patriotism to lead to productive adults.
Yeah, it would. He wants a trustworthiness, including honesty, reliability, punctuality, and loyalty, responsibility, including hard work, accountability, diligence, good judgment, perseverance, and self-control, care for family, including parents, sibling, and future spouses and children, kindness and generosity, respect and care for human life, respect for parental authority, respect for parents' obligation to children, respect for property of others, respect for legitimate authority and law, and etc. There's a ton of other things.
Yeah,
gratitude, charity, courage.
So you think you hit it right on the nose. This is a lot of this stuff from my point of view is learned from example. From your children. Right?
Yeah,
that's
I think that in certain more in the urban school districts, it's fatherless homes. You're not getting it.
Low income.
Not that the mother can't, or if you do have a mother and father, they're working too much and they're not watching the kids. I don't know. This is I think it's meant in to do it would be intentions are good. I just don't know if they're good.
Yeah, if your kids watch their parents not go to work and steal and take advantage of the system, for lack of a better, they're going to do the same thing. If they're not kind to people, if all you do is yell at people and cut in line or whatever, I mean,
the other thing I'm seeing this in the suburbs too, where the kids don't really have any type of real respect for their adults in their life.
To keep us away from boomer territory. I think this is a ongoing problem with every generation. It just gets worse and worse, I think.
Yeah, it's gotten worse. We're Gen X. We're not boomers.
Yeah.
But we respected our parents growing up. I mean, we might have rebelled here and there, but
why did you respect your elders or your parents or your grandparents or your uncles or the person in the grocery store? Why?
Well, they were adults.
They were adults, and if I didn't,
I'd get whooped.
Yeah, my dad kicked my butt.
Yeah, that's probably some of it's that whole generation of parents that got a participation award. Mm-hmm. Now they're raising kids, and they're even more kind of
everybody laughed. Everybody laughs at you. My family members laughed at me when I was like, "What? You get a participation trophy? You should go right in the garbage." Oh no, you gotta. So when
I told that to some family members and they got angry.
Oh yeah, I was like,
I had somebody in my family who had a young child just started playing baseball, and they didn't keep score. I was like, I laughed.
The kids are keeping score.
Yeah.
They were keeping score. I did the same.
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing.
You know, and the thing is, this child doesn't play anymore, and because his parents are just as bad as the participants. Yeah, you know, it's I don't know, man.
But I think the best way to teach this is by example from everybody, not just parents.
So they wanted to add a program in school. They want all the school districts to offer a program and put together a curriculum for the character. But at first I was like, this is going to get pushback because people are going to go into the whole morals thing. Like, is this going to be religious type of, and, but it looks like it's going to be an after school.
Okay.
Thing. So I don't, no,
actually, it's probably not a bad thing. Actually,
it's not a bad thing, but how many people are going to take it?
Right. But also, from my experience, they don't have enough time in the day to get done what I think they should be getting done. They're so focused on test scores and all this other stuff that,
the other thing is the teachers can show, be examples themselves.
Exactly. That's why I said not just parents, but everybody.
Yeah.
Our lawmakers, our teachers, the police, and everybody, just the general public. I mean, let's go back to the rhetoric. Let's everybody calm down. We're all in this together. I mean, so that it all kind of ties together. The more society gets nasty, is a better way to put it. That they see that too. That's the example to be. To be a jerk.
It's that whole, online existence. I mean, people are nasty to each other and they can't, you could say anything you want to somebody if they're not in front of you.
Yep. Like road rage. You're big and bad behind that vehicle. But.
Yeah. We didn't have that growing up.
No.
Not really. Not. Maybe we caught a little bit of it, but we were already old enough to know how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. I mean, like I said, good intentions. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But let's lead by example. Let's one up him and just do it ourselves. Don't need the government to tell us how to be respectful. Moving on, we got some more budget. A little bit of budget talk. Not a whole lot going on. They're actually in committee. But you got a story in here. DeWine being cagey? Get out of here.
I got a clip here. I'll play it.
Yeah.
The 2 3/4% flat income tax in the Senate budget got the approval of all but one Republican senator. And House Republicans who favor tax cuts seem to like it as well. But there's one key Republican who is showing doubts, and he has the power to strike the idea from the budget. Governor Mike DeWine has not proposed an income tax cut in any of his 4 budgets and says no company has ever told him they wouldn't come to Ohio because its income taxes were too high. He's not a fan of the flat income tax idea, which is a cut for Ohioans making over $100,000 a year. DeWine says he still likes the $1,000 tax credit for working parents with young kids that he proposed, funded by a hike in cigarette taxes.
That's the only tax cut I'm in favor of. That tax cut makes sense, and it's what we should do. And I hope the legislature, as we go through this process, will look at that.
DeWine's budget director is not forecasting a recession, but says the state will likely see a decelerating economy. DeWine has issued 83 line item vetoes in the past 3 budgets, but none have been on tax cuts. Karen Kassler at the Ohio Public Radio State House News Bureau.
What a rhino. Well, yeah, we can give $1,000 tax credit if we tax somewhere else to pay for it. Yeah. So you want to give low-income families $1,000 tax credit. Okay. And then you want to raise cigarette tax. Okay. Who smokes?
Yep.
Mostly low-income taxpayers.
Yeah, he's a shill for the old school Republicans.
I want to know, here's what I want. I want a redefining of high earners. Because I didn't say it in that report, but in a lot of the stories I watched and read, they want a tax cut for high earners.
Well, the high earner now, I think it starts at what, 139?
139,000.
Yeah,
that's lower than middle class if you're a single wage earner.
If you're single, if for the household, I think what's middle class now for a household?
It was like 150. I don't know what it could have changed.
It's right around 160, I think.
Yeah, maybe it went up in the last few years.
Yeah, I forget, but
it's
139 isn't. If you're making that on your own, you're doing pretty good. But if you're
but I wouldn't consider you're a high earner.
No, I just consider that like upper middle class or middle class. Actually,
if you're a single mom or a family of 4 with one person working, making $150,000 a year, you're not a high earner.
No, you're just getting by. Yeah, you're getting by. You're doing fine.
Not just getting by, but you're not buying Mercedes.
No.
So I'm sick of hearing high earners get a tax.
And that tax break for the so-called high earner starting at 139 probably only saves you a couple $100 a year. It's not that huge. It's huge for it's not even huge. I think if you made $1.7 million a year, it would save you $10,000 in taxes. So I don't know anybody making that kind of money personally, but
no.
But 10,000 to that person isn't exactly.
It's not going to make or break anything. It's nice to have the extra, but I look at it more.
Well, they might hire somebody to clean up their yard, with that extra. Money.
Here's 2 ways I'm looking at it. I know wages in labor in construction. Let's say union wages. They're up over $70 an hour for a package, right?
That's including their benefits.
Yeah, but that's like everybody else goes, right?
Well, I don't look at it that way, but they're making decent money,
right? But that's if you weren't, if you're not in the union, you still have a package, like your healthcare and anything your company contributes to 401k is part of your compensation. So if you're a union contractor and you're a laborer and you've gone through the apprenticeship, it doesn't have to be a union, it could be anybody, but using them because it's a set number. You work 40, 50 hours a year, you're getting paid $150,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of that goes into your health and welfare, which is
I would say
normal.
About half of that goes to that.
And depends on the union, but in most cases I've seen it's about 25%.
Okay.
Or $25 an hour, I should say. So it's like
that's about what my union is.
Yeah, it's like a
it does. I know
it's all different.
I know employers like to say you're making that kind of money, but it doesn't feel like it.
But they're paying.
But they're doing good. They're doing good.
Right. I mean, but you're getting.
I know where you're coming from.
You're getting the money somehow. They're paying for something or getting retirement. So you don't get in your pocket. I get it. Their rate for what they take home is a lot less than that. It's depending on contractor or carpenter or laborer, could be anywhere between $35 to $40 an hour take home. So all that being said is high. So if you're making $135,000 a year, and then you go up, you make $140,000 a year, you get a raise. You just now tick up to the next tax bracket, and you're now making less a week. You're pulling home less,
right?
Than you did before.
Yep.
That's where I think the huge thing is like, oh yeah, I just got a raise. I'm now making $150,000. Wait, my check's less.
That's where you get that's where you like the state thing isn't the worst. It's the federal taxes, income tax, when you kind of hit that wall.
Yeah.
That's where it gets really bad.
So my whole point to a lot of this is not necessarily high wage. These are a lot of this dollar amount can easily hit the working class person.
Yeah, for sure.
A good electrician could easily make $150,000 to $200,000 a year.
Welder, electrician, carpenter.
Yeah, they are in high demand.
Yeah, any blue collar job. Not any job, but any skilled job can get close to that for sure. With overtime, hell.
Yeah. And I think there are also arguments. So that's a big point of contention for the Republicans in the House and the Senate. They're talking about the Browns Stadium. There's all the stuff we had already talked about before. But then, of course, DeWine has to come in and start crying his little games. But they're going to work it out. And if that's my question. If he line item vetoes things, does it go back to the legislature for them to vote on?
Like something like this, I think it can. Yeah. Okay. Is it a bill?
I don't know, but he doesn't have to. He can literally just scratch a line out of a bill and line item veto that, like just one sentence.
He could.
Yeah,
he
could.
I
think it gets down to that granular. And I'm not convinced that they can go back and change all those, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, when they've done bills, he's vetoed bills before where they kind of came back and said "F you."
I'll have to make a note looking at it. Does it count for line item vetoes?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the other thing was they're also fighting over the Republicans are fighting over the marijuana legislation for recreational marijuana.
Yeah, I got a clip if you want to hear it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just hours before the State House was supposed to vote on a compromise, state senators pulled the bill.
So News 5's Morgan Trout spoke with both sides about what happened, what are the sticking points, and what's next.
Ohio voters spoke loud and clear.
Well, I voted for it.
Like Republican State Rep Jamie Callender, who has been smoking marijuana for decades. He was a large supporter of Issue 2 in 2023, the legalization of recreational cannabis. But since then, other Republican leaders have been trying to change the law. For the past several months, the chambers have been trying to compromise on their separate bills. The Senate's proposal decreases THC content, reduces home growing from 12 plants to 6, imposes more criminal penalties, and takes away tax money from local municipalities that have dispensaries. The House's latest version had none of those.
The Senate had proposed taking that tax away. We finally had that negotiated so it would stay in.
Recently, an agreement was reached on following most of the House version, which mainly focused on preventing children from accessing the drug. The bill was set to hit the House floor Wednesday, but in a turn of events, Republican infighting is preventing the bill from being passed.
Apparently, the Senate changed their mind.
In a shock to House Speaker Matt Huffman, the Senate pulled out of the compromise.
To my surprise, and there were a whole new set of issues, additional issues, which were raised Monday night.
A Senate ultimatum of 16 changes.
They wanted to make a mandatory jail sentence for passing a joint between friends.
What changed in the past 72 hours to pull the Senate out of the marijuana deal?
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say anything has changed. I think the conversations have gone pretty well. Maybe there was a misunderstanding as to where we might have been on the bill as both chambers.
Senate President Rob McCauley says that he wants to follow his version of the legislation.
I think our priorities are in the bill that we already passed.
He says that the teams will work together to actually come to an agreement as soon as possible.
I would like to get something done by the end of June.
We're not going to give up House priorities to do that.
Do you believe that the Senate will be going against the will of the voters with all of their requests?
Yes.
Because of the dug-in positions among chamber leaders, House members now speculate that likely nothing will be passed regarding cannabis before the summer recess.
So, we
get through the summer with the good weed until fall.
This is why I will never be a Republican. They don't know how to win.
No. No, this is like, why? I don't understand why they're even doing anything.
Right now, they got the majority, right?
Yeah.
In Ohio.
Yeah.
By like 70% or something. Yep. It's crazy. But this is like what kind of gets people, this is what activates voters. When you do stupid, stupid things. And I think there's another story you got coming up that might reiterate what I'm saying here.
Yes, for sure. I just wanted to also touch on this. One of the other holdups is the tax revenue. They did reference that in your piece.
Right.
So right now for recreational, there is the standard 8% sales tax, like on everything you buy, which is weird because you can eat. Why is it? Anyway, just kidding. But 8% taxes on everything. So medical, just like you buy a candy bar, you get, or not a candy bar, but something that's taxed at 8%. Blech. Okay. So they also add for recreational marijuana, they add another 10% tax on top of that. And where that money is going to go is also the holdup. But in this article, it gives us a breakdown of where this money is supposed to be going according to the law. And I thought this was interesting because 36% of that 10% tax that you pay when someone buys recreational marijuana goes to the Social Equity Fund to help people disproportionately impacted by marijuana-related laws. What the hell is that? It sounds like a slush fund to me.
Yeah.
Who disproportionately impacted by marijuana-related laws? Is that like people who have long prison terms because they sold a couple bags, or is this like, I don't know. It's very, I don't know. There's another 36% that's supposed to go to the host cities, the ones who
but they're
actually
changing
have
that.
Yes, and they have yet to really get any money from the state,
right?
Because the state collects this tax, obviously, from the dispensaries, and then they're supposed to divvy it out. And I think they saw a very small portion, and they cut it right off for some reason. Well, not for some reason, we kind of know. And 25% is supposed to go to the state's mental health and addiction services department, and 3% goes to the cannabis control department. But I'd say I'd like to look into what where this money goes for disproportionately impacted people. Interesting to me, see what that's all about. And so they're bickering. The Republicans are bickering, and this is what happens when you leave it up to the critters in Columbus instead of passing a constitutional amendment. Next.
Didn't we pass a constitutional amendment for this? Oh, no, we didn't. For medical, that's right.
That's why they can't touch medical as easily, because it's not legislature that has to go through, has to be amended in the Constitution. So,
yep.
All right, just a reminder, crookedrivercast.com. Come by, see where you can get in touch with us while we build our site. crookedrivercast.com or crookedrivercast@gmail.com.
Yeah, you could just go to Crooked Rivercast, and I think our email link is there, and our X link is there. Should be, right?
Yep, it's all there. Yeah, it's there. All right. Next on my list is just quick rundown on the Cuyahoga County Board of Commissioners is basically saying, hey, Browns are gone. They're moving. Let's deal with it. And I would agree. I'm glad that they're pushing the president of the council or the commission, whatever it is, Ronayne, to move on. Let's we can all live together in this situation here.
Yeah,
it's a lost cause, and the city is just pouring.
It was a lost cause a while ago.
Yeah, they're just pouring money down an empty hole and just feeding there.
Hey, you got a story there. You got a story there. I thought, wow, I thought we were going to get into, but maybe the abortion ban.
Sorry, I pulled it from the lineup.
Okay, all right,
that's fine. We can touch on it real quick. The reason I pulled it is because there's no bill. It's just they're talking about a bill, and everybody's just kind of like freaking out.
I think they're talking about it's not going to go anywhere. But if it does, I think. So this is a bill to ban abortion, IVF ban, and I think there was something else too. Certain types of
contraceptive. Yeah.
So my take on this was, when I looked at it, this is how Republicans lose, because it activates a portion of the opposite voting demographic. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but
it activates the other side, the opposition.
Because the conservative side got their asses handed to them when the abortion law came into.
But it's another example of what you're saying too, because they went so hard with the law that they passed.
Yeah,
that it swung the pendulum the other way.
Yeah. They got their asses handed to them when I went voting. The blue hair dye and the purple hair dye, it's still affecting me.
That's a lot of chemicals, Tom.
Yeah, there was just such a big reaction to that.
Well, it's almost like they know that they're doing, the Republicans are doing that. It's almost, they do it so often that it almost like they know what they're doing.
Yes.
And what I mean is, if you wanted to, I understand. I'm sympathetic to your cause in this particular issue, but you don't do it all at once. And they try to do it all at once.
Yeah.
It shocked everybody, and it gave the opposition, the pro-abortion side, all the fodder they needed.
Yeah. It's a retarded way to go about this.
And they do this over and over again.
This is my take on this. They're going to activate the other side, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, because they also want to decide when life starts.
That's the whole point of the bill, is that they want to pass an amendment saying life starts at conception.
Right, and which gives that life rights. Right.
Right. Yes.
So
it has human rights, and it is. Yeah.
Right. So I think what the pro-life side are trying to do, and they're going to do this in other states. They're going to try to come up with bills like this, and some state is going to pass it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people will sue, and then it's going to go to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Ohio being one of those that would sue.
Literally what he said in this story, the guy, the proponent who wants to push this bill.
Oh, is that what he said?
He hopes it goes to the Supreme Court.
That's what I think they're trying to do.
He knows it's going to be sued. He knows there's going to be a lawsuit.
Yeah, but okay.
And he even said in the quote,
Rob, I thought I had good insight here. Damn it.
Oh, sorry. No, he even says they ask him, would this be against the will of the voters? And he says, I was trying to figure out what his name is. I can't remember. It's in here somewhere. Bagel is his name. Bagel. He said it goes against the majority opinion of the people of Ohio, and that is something we are proud of, because there have been many times in our country's history where the people have asked for something evil. And of course, he brings up slavery, but
right.
But he's saying, it is against the will of the people, and he's okay with it.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see. So you think this is done just to push it to the Supreme Court on the?
Yep.
The Republicans want it to the Supreme Court to make a final decision, or what?
I think the pro-life side does, which usually.
Let's finish the argument. Is it life or not? I guess. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know.
Does it have? When I say it, does the
baby,
the fetus have rights? That's what they're looking at.
Yeah,
that's what they want. That's what they want to go to the Supreme Court, because I think if it does go to the Supreme Court, they will say it has rights.
I think there's a good chance, better than it ever has in a long time, but I'm not convinced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced.
I don't know.
I've seen so many decisions come out of the Supreme Court that were like, huh?
Well, yeah.
Especially from like Gorsuch and not Gorsuch, Kavanaugh and Barrett. Well,
Barrett's been, but I don't know. She's got 6 kids.
Pro-life.
Yeah.
But like I said, things are going to go, huh? Maybe this may go too far for her. Who knows? I don't know. It is a pretty, I don't know. It's a pretty bold idea, I think.
I think the ultimate thing that they want is not to really ban it. I think they just want to make it so it's, maybe it's 8 weeks.
Yeah, well, you screwed that up already. You already missed that chance, because you could have done that initially, and I bet you wouldn't be in this position if they would have done this originally with the law after Roe v. Wade was overturned, and they put a more reasonable approach to it, like you're saying.
Right.
They go for the home run, the grand slam every time, and they're always swinging and missing.
Yeah,
popping out. So I don't know. All right, on to what the heck is a bagworm?
It's something you should kill.
Okay, it looks pretty weird to me.
Well, it's a caterpillar. If you okay, so this is from, I think it's Fox 8. Yeah, Fox 8, Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a PSA here. If you see a bagworm, kill it, because it's invasive. It's destroying leafage.
It looks like it's like a bunch of sticks.
That's how it's hiding.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because it kind of the larvae kind of makes it look like it's part of the tree that it's on. I would recommend everybody go to just Google bagworm so you know what to look for. And if you work in the yard and you like your trees and you like your garden and your shrubs that you have, if you see this, make sure you're killing them because they're going to destroy a lot of things.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, we had the lantern bugs, lantern moths. Was it called?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people were need to kill because those just came from China, and I don't know where these came from. Actually, it didn't say in the story.
It has to be China, Tom.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm gonna China.
Blame China.
But if you see these things, they got good pictures on Fox 8, and I'm sure if you just Google it, you could find it.
Yeah, they remind me of the sharpshooter. What would it be called? Like a Navy SEAL or something. All sitting in a field somewhere.
Oh yeah, like a sniper.
Yeah, sniper. That's it. All in his ghillie suit. That's what I was looking for. It looks like a sniper in his ghillie suit. That's pretty cool, actually, but creepy all at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one problem could take over another problem because you got another story here. There's bacteria and algae prompting a warning in Cleveland beaches. Maybe the bacteria can kill the bag moth. Or the bag.
That would be nice, right? Well, okay, so it's getting hot. It's going to be today it's supposed to be almost 90, tomorrow 90, 91, 92 for the next few days, and people are going to head to the water. Be careful with Edgewater Beach and Villa Angela Beach, part of the Metro Parks system. Villa Angela, I never heard of that beach, but it's part of the Euclid Reservation. And there is an 87% probability of E. coli right now. Wow. At Edgewater, and 93.7 at Villa Angela Beach of bacteria or E. coli, and they have an algae problem too. So, make sure you ask somebody there if you can go into the water because it doesn't sound too good.
Yeah, this has to do with just abundance of algae in the lake.
I think
they had algae plumes over the last few years. They've been trying to.
Right. And
get rid of her.
I think the excess rain that we've had over the last week and a half or two has kind of spiked everything.
Yeah, I remember seeing a story on this. A lot of it they were thinking has to do with a lot of the fertilizer that we use, and it gets washed into the rain, and we have all this extra nutrients gets into this into the lake, and it promotes a lot of this algae growth.
It could, I guess.
They did some study. I forget when they. I think 2020 or 2021 when they were doing a study, and I think a lot of the farmers, maybe it wasn't then, it was before then. There was a year there was a lot of rain, and they couldn't fertilize like they normally do because of all the rain, and then the algae blooms were highly reduced that year or something to that effect. I saw some documentary somewhere on it. It was interesting.
Huh.
It may have a lot to do with rainwater from farmland. They just dump in nitrous, they do a lot of fertilizer. So.
I heard a blurb on the radio too. It was something about the excess rain causing the water. They might have been talking more about the algae than the E. coli, but
yeah. This is particularly the algae blooms that they're having problems with over the last few years, and it all gets it's pretty gross actually. Yeah. So careful when you're out there. I guess like normal when you go into Lake Erie, pop a couple penicillin and you'll be good. Just kidding. Don't do that. That's not true. Talk to your doctor.
Yeah, this is specifically Edgewater Beach and Villa Angela Beach, but I don't know if I would even bother going to like Huntington or Geneva. Who knows? But be careful.
Go in a pool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you should be a little bit better, and it depends on the pool you go into.
Yeah, put a sprinkler on and start running through it in your yard. Your neighbors will love it.
There you go. Yes. Well, as long as you wear clothes. All right. And next on to, we have the good stuff.
We bring good things to live in. We bring good things to life.
Just like GE, Tom, we bring good things to life. A little blast in the past there. All right. On the good things.
I think I was watching Brady Bunch last time I heard that.
I know. Might have been. Easily the 80s.
Yeah.
kept thinking, I need a jingle. I remember that jingle. This is funny. Well, maybe. So, good stuff. Good things. We're bringing good things to life. There is a live music at Public Square going on this year again. And they got a lineup going on. And I think every week for starting in 2 weeks. Well, of course,
July 9th through September 24th.
Yeah, there it is.
I think it's on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Wednesdays at Public Square from 5 to 8.
Yeah.
And with bands that I've never heard of, but a lot of local bands, which is good. And that's
actually, I've heard of a lot of these. You got Becky Boyd, which is that's on July 30th, which she's a blues artist. And then there's August 6th is the Country Honk, which we talked about a week or two ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually might go see that. That sounds fun. They're Sugar Magnolia. They've been around for a while.
Cool.
Go check it out. There's bands every week, every Wednesday from July 9th through September 24th.
Yeah, they're going to have food trucks and all kinds of stuff to keep you cool and fed and hydrated because it'll be warm, but it's cool. I like that. Let's get some music, live music downtown. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
On that note, lastly, I ran into this Cleveland Current playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago. I brought it up.
Yeah. Oh, you did bring this. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, I started playing.
I think they put this out once a month or something.
Okay.
So,
and I was going through it, and I heard this song. We'll play a little clip from it. But it's by a band called Matthew Alec. It's Matthew Alec and the Soul Electric, nominated as Cleveland's Best Jazz for 2024 by the Cleveland Music Awards. Explosive fusion supergroup. Matthew Alec and the Soul Electric bring old school swagger to their fresh, exciting, and innovative blend of jazz, pop, and funk. And I thought that sounded good. Let's see if this music thing will work. Let's see if we can get a good clip for you guys. This is called Blue Train, off the album Blue Train, seems like. Let's take a listen.
From the past, train off the track. Blue jazz, cold train from the cul-de-sac. Known to snap on the track, drummer throw the scratch. Warm up the phone.
So it's a little different. I can see why they stand out. I don't know. It's jazz and it's got a little rap in there. I don't know. Different.
Okay.
May not be up to everybody's taste, but
not my cup of tea.
Sounded something that stood out to me. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So check out Cleveland Current playlist on Spotify again, apparently.
The bass line was cool in there.
Bass line was cool. That's what caught me. I wanted to listen to the rest of it. I listened to most of it, but not the whole thing. Bass line was really cool. Okay, so I think on that lovely note, go check out their playlist, and we're wrapping it up for the day. Go jam to some music while you cut the grass before it rains or after it rains, or stay hydrated, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace.